One thing I also like to ask channels, people channeling a lot, because I've spent like last 30 years working with channels, like great channels, like, you know, Ramtha and who else? Bashar and Paul Selig, who, do you know Paul Selig?
I do. I've seen him.
Great channel.
Yeah.
I, in a way, started discovering him. I brought him out of his apartment. I said, Paul, you got to do this publicly.
Yeah.
But anyway, is there ever a chance where you merge with you as Adrian will merge with the beings you're channeling? Do you see that as a kind of, or is that not for you to do?
I sort of feel like that's happening in a sense. So the way that I saw the structure when I look at like sort of the soul structure and embodiment, it's like there's the spirit, this is internal you, and that is like maybe your higher self, you could call it, and then it goes into a soul, and that soul is like in charge of all your embodiments, right? And so you might be having all these embodiments at once because time is not the way we think it is. And so you're down here and you discover this. You get blasted open, you have an awakening. And then you suddenly, the next question is, who am I? What am I? What is this?
Right.
And you're like, was I alive then? And, you know, you start asking these questions. And you sort of go up and you start to realize that that's all you. It's almost
so the
like,
beings you're actually channeling are actually an aspect of you.
You can consider, at least in my soul structure, all the beings that are there, me. However, there are other beings like your guidance team, your guardian angels, but then also some people are working with councils and things like that. They sort of join part of your guidance team. And from what I understood, your guidance team, it's sort of connected to your soul. So they, in a sense, become you, almost like a collective consciousness.
Right.
And that is how I understand collective consciousnesses work, because some souls are collective consciousnesses at this point. So it's like a shared experience.
It's amazing how much you have integrated in like 2 years. I mean, you're really on the fast track.
Well, I can tell you how it happened.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you the story in a nutshell. But, you know, basically 2 years ago, I watched a show about ETs, and they were talking about, you know, a bunch of stuff, which, and, you know, every show is like, what if? And I was just like, this one wasn't really like that. They were like talking about different things. And they started talking about artificial intelligence, and I had built an AI powered company. There's just not that many people in the world who do that. So I immediately said, you know, this is real. Like, at least that experience that this person had definitely somehow happened. And then I started researching it, and I read a channeled book, and I didn't know what that meant. And I started, it was an older book, so I was looking for newer books.
But meanwhile, you were doing your whole business thing, being in the world.
And I still am.
And you're married and all that stuff, yes.
Yeah, so I was just researching things at night, you know, after work. And then I saw a channeled message from somebody on YouTube, and it was a lady channeling an archangel, and this archangel was speaking. And as I was watching it, I had this experience where I was like blown open. I saw like this flash of light, and I saw like past lifetimes, like on Earth and not on Earth. And
did you think you were making that up? Or?
No, I was crying. It was a mess. It was like super powerful and freaked me out. And my wife comes running into the room asking what's wrong with me. And I'm like, it's beautiful. I don't know. You know, and I had a friend there too. And I mean, it was a mess. And the next day I'd been meditating. I had downloaded Headspace, this app, and it was like, you know, just meditating for a couple months before. And I look at it now and I see like this train was
preparation.
Yeah, this train had already left. I went vegan. I was meditating. I was doing yoga. And I was like, just getting healthier. You know, it's time to get healthy. And it was probably preparing me for what was coming.
I'm sure it was. It was cleaning you out.
Yeah. And so that next day I meditated, and I said, you know, I know angels or whoever you are can talk to people. So just tell me, like, what was that yesterday? And there was a voice that said you were loved. And my body had this very strong, like, vibration, almost electrical current that went through me. And that was all I got. And, you know, for months I would meditate and my body would have that same vibration. And it still does. And so eventually I had an office out in Santiago, Chile, and was building an office out there. And I came back and I came up to Sedona, and I said, I'm going to go talk to one of these crazy people.
Because they're here in Sedona.
They definitely are. And I was like, for sure they're going to know what's going on with me, you know? Yeah. So I went and asked somebody, and they brought down my guides, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
And they told me all these things were going to happen. And I was like, okay. And then I saw another person said the same thing. Another person said the same thing. And so eventually one person told me that, you know, that my guides were there, and they said like if I hold their hand and close my eyes, I will be able to see them. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
And I did that. And I was following this lady's meditation. And sure enough, I showed up. There was these blue people. And
you held their hand.
I was holding this lady's hand.
This blue lady's hand.
No, it's a normal human lady.
Norm.
Yeah,
okay,
She was, sort of like a channeler, but not really. And she said she was going to read my Akashic record or something to see if any of the stuff I heard was true. And I was like, okay, cool.
Right.
I don't know what that is, but let's do that. And then that was the first time I saw them. And they spoke through her in like light language, and it was super weird. And they said that essentially my whole life was like being streamed to them, and they were using that somehow. But that one-way connection would become a two-way connection, and they would contact me in a few days. So
your whole life up until that point was actually being accessed by these beings?
Yeah, my entire life.
Oh, that's interesting.
Was streamed to them.
Isn't that interesting? What was the reason, you think?
The way that I understood it, it's like they were like my soul family, and they could see everything that I could see. Like,
but they wanted to learn the human experience too.
Yeah, but somehow it was very important for them.
What? But you still don't know why it's so important.
Well, because of the time that we're in, because of the awakening, and because of what I'm going to do, I guess, or what I'm doing. And so for them, I was always connected. I just didn't realize it.
Wow.
And so then it was a few days later, and that was sort of the story I told you earlier.
Yeah.
I was meditating. They showed up, the blue guys again. And so I'd seen them one other time. And so I was like trying to talk to them, and I couldn't really do it. And they sort of somehow told me like it was my energy. Like my energy wasn't there yet. And I was like, well, why don't you fix it? You know?
Right.
And they said, okay. And I was like, okay, can you do it now? And they said, yes. And I said, do I have to do anything? They said, no. So I got up and I went over to my den and I sat down. And it was a few minutes after I sat down, I had this experience where I got like suddenly like almost like a weird feeling where I got like so tired like instantly, and I couldn't sit up. So I just sort of leaned back on my couch, and as soon as that happened, I was gone. And I showed up in this white room, and it was crystal clear. And there was a woman that walked up to me, a very beautiful woman, and she said, hey, she knew my name. She's like, hi, Adrian, I'm going to help you with your chakras and your energy.
But you weren't dreaming this.
No.
You were not imagining. It was like actually...
It was crystal clear. It was like I felt more real than this.
Wow.
And it was intense, you know, and I've been back, you know.
You've been back there to that same place? Can we get there now? No.
I can tell you about it.
But you can't get us there.
I can channel down some beans for you, which is what I'll do.
But how would we have that experience of actually? Is there any way, or we're just not on that path?
They had prepared to take me.
So not everyone has access to that realm unless we've been prepared, or like you have to know someone on the inside.
I only know my situation. I know that they had been preparing for me to have that experience.
I would like to have that experience, or something.
Well, we can check into that.
All right. Well, it's okay. I mean, it'll show up when I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, they definitely were prepared for me. They took me up, and then I was transported to a different dimension. So this was a fifth dimensional ship that I was on, and it was full of people, let's call it. And I was transported. This woman came up to me and she came up behind me and gave me a hug, which I thought was super crazy. Yeah. And as soon as she did that, there's a box of light that opened right in front of me, and she let me go, and I just floated right through it. And
you said you were in fear.
I was like in shock at first.
Right.
I was just like, whoa, but this is happening. It was all happening so fast. And it's like, I'd never seen anything like that, so I couldn't even wrap my head around it. I mean,
I believe everything you're saying, but it seems pretty incredible because someone hearing this will say, "Oh, he's just had a dream," but it's
That's
not.
okay.
I'm just saying it was real. It was like you said, as real as this.
Oh, it was. Yeah, it wasn't a dream.
Then you shot down this thing.
Well, as soon as I touched it, like I floated towards it, I touched it, and I was sucked through it. And then I was like flying through space. I didn't know if I had a body or not.
Wow. And
that was super intense. And I was like it just felt like the fastest thing. I was just
whipping by.
I was just whipping through.
Like the end of like 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah, it was like something I can't even explain because I never imagined anything like that.
Yeah.
And And it went on for maybe 5-10 seconds. And then it was like someone snapped their fingers again, and I was laying on a table, a very big table.
Mm-hmm.
And there was all these huge beams of light, maybe 15 feet tall, all around me. And they were like blue. You couldn't see their face so much because they were so bright, but I could see some of their eyes and things. And my whole body was having this very intense vibration, almost like a sort of weird thing.
Right.
And I was, I thought, is this really happening? And they answered me and they said, yes, this is happening. And that's where I got scared. I was like, oh shit.
Oh my God.
And as soon as that happened, then I was back on my couch.
Well, I want to hear the rest of the story, but I'm just curious, do you think most of the intelligence in this universe or multiverse is less dense than physical matter?
I would say probably. I would
Right.
say that density, this level of density is very special. It's a complex experience. It's a very good experience.
This 3D
Yeah.
physical thing, yeah.
Yeah, we think it's like a bad place sometimes here.
No, I love.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to do. Is
Yeah.
be here. Yes.
Exactly. You have pizza here, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I do feel that there's all these other types of experiences happening at the very same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was privy to one, and
Right.
I saw that, and they did open me up, and that's sort of how everything happened. When I came back down, I was able to see them more clearly, and that started a communication, a dialogue with these beings.
That ended. That began the channeling.
Yeah, that was the very start of it. And first I essentially wanted to channel just to talk to them,
Right.
because I didn't know anything else, and that led me to being able to talk to them. And then I met my guides. I wouldn't consider them sort of my guides or anything. They were there to assist me to remember who I was.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, you're one of the most grounded channels I've met. Most grounded in the earth, isn't he? Like pretty. I mean, it's like you are. You know who you are, and you're just kind of wondering about these other realms, and you're very open to let them through. So I'm happy to meet you and understand your story. So
yeah, thanks. I mean, it very much came out of nowhere in a sense, but it felt important enough to focus on.
Well, do you think we have a message for us at this time?
Yeah.
Because also what you're describing is like the ascension process. Is that what you want? Should we ask your guides, or what do you want to talk, or you just whatever they want to talk about? I guess.
So I sort of have a feeling, because I sort of touched them before you guys got here.
Okay.
And I do think it will be ETs that we channel today.
Okay.
And
do you channel other beings besides the ETs?
Well, so primarily I work with the Council of Light, and this Council of Light has angels on it. It has the collective consciousness of a couple different races of beings.
Oh, nice.
It's not an actual individual. And some masters, Jesus is there, and others. And so when I met my guides, I met them in a very, I was taken to some place, and I call it the City of Light. That's what I call it. And it's in a higher dimension. And I was instructed to go there for a couple hours a day in meditation, and it would teach me. And so I did that for about a year.
Do you get something special about being in Sedona? Does that help your energy somehow?
In a sense, I was told to come here because it wouldn't go through the things that major cities would go through. And it would just be a place where I could focus on this. And I wouldn't have to really worry about all the other stuff going on in the world.
Right.
And not that, it was like a place for me to focus on this work, put it on the internet, and then people all over the world could consume it. Versus if I was in a different place, I could still do this, but it would maybe be not all my focus. There would be other things I'd have to worry about.
So this needs to be your focus because it's something coming through that wants to get out and be shared with the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's see what wants to come through.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Chewy.
So we'll get to it here.
Okay.
So give me a moment to get into it.
Can you describe I always like asking channels to describe their process, because we all can do it, but it's just like you do something with your mind to get out of the way, and most of the time our mind is just filling up space.
Well, you know what? Maybe it would be fun for your audience is to actually connect with them. To help them connect the same way I connect.
Yeah. Why don't you talk our way through it, and then we'll all be channeling and no one will be watching. But no, that's okay.
So I'll lead us on like a 5-minute meditation.
Great.
Just a very quick thing.
Okay. No, that's good.
And what we're going to do, and I'll explain my process while we're doing it. But essentially, we're going to connect into the sun, okay? And then we're going to connect into the earth. And we're going to run this energy through our chakras. We're going to build this very big ball of energy around us.
Okay.
And we're going to bring in a lot of love. We're going to bring in maybe some help. So I'll share my process that I'm doing internally with you.
Okay.
And then I'm going to sort of connect.
You're going to leave.
Yeah.
You're going to leave and something else will arrive.
Right. And they'll tell you who they are and who's speaking. They'll bring through a message. After that message, you can ask questions. I only ask that you ask one question at a time.
Okay.
Don't give me a loaded question with like 10 questions in it.
Right. Okay.
I think they can handle it, but maybe I can't.
Okay.
One thing that, the disclaimers here is they use my consciousness, they use my body, they use my vocabulary.
Right.
If there's something that's completely outside of my consciousness, or I don't have the word for it, it will be harder for me to bring it.
Okay.
Okay.
I get it.
So that's the limitation.
I'll try to. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll...
All right. So I'll get started here. Everyone just sort of close your eyes.
Okay.
All right. I want you to take a couple deep cleansing breaths. So just take a nice breath in. And you may see me sort of twitch and move. This is because of the energy. So don't worry too much about it. So take a nice deep breath in, breathe out, and as you do, just let go. Just let go of everything going on in your day, everything going on in your life, everything that's happened this week. Just completely let it go. Just take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, just relax. Relax your shoulders, relax your whole body. Just feel everything drain out of you. One more breath. Just relax. Now we're going to use our imagination. Your imagination doesn't live inside of your brain, doesn't live in your body. It lives in your crown chakra. You can imagine that this imagination is a tool. It's a tool to connect the non-physical with the physical world. All starts in your imagination, but we are working with consciousness. We are working with the non-physical. So we're going to use our imagination to build a bridge of light to bridge the non-physical to the physical world. And that is how we channel. That's how we create a nice safe space to open our energy. So I want you to imagine that you're floating in space right above Earth. Imagine this however you wish. You're safe, you can breathe, everything's good there. And you're floating right above Earth, and as you look straight ahead, you see our sun. And it is a blinding, beautiful, golden light. And this sun, our sun, is connected to the central sun. It is connected to the source of all that is. It is a divine light that shines through our sun. And as you think about this, you see this beautiful ray of light, a beautiful pillar of light forming all around you, coming straight from our sun. And it is a very fiery, golden, white, violet light. And this beautiful golden, violet, white light shines all around you. And as it does, it burns off everything in your aura, everything in your mental, emotional, and physical body that is less than love, that is less than the divine, that no longer serves you. And you can see this beautiful, fiery, golden, white, violet light all around you. I want you to breathe this light in. I want you to imagine that this fiery, golden, violet light is going in your nostrils, into your lungs. Just see it. Imagine it. Breathe it in. And as you do, this beautiful golden white light goes into your blood, cleansing your blood, goes into your bones, cleansing your bones, goes into all your tissue, filling you with a golden white divine light. And this is a very cleansing light, cleansing you from the inside out. And as it does, this beautiful golden white light begins to build in the center of your chest, in your spiritual heart. And it begins to grow. And just imagine a ball of golden white violet light in the center of your chest beginning to build, beginning to shine. And it begins to shine all around you, it begins to shine outside of you, filling the room that we're in with a beautiful golden white light. Now you're lighting up from the inside, and this beautiful pillar of light comes all the way down into this room, filling this room with a golden white divine light, cleansing this room of anything that does not serve, cleansing all the material in this room, cleansing of energy that is not ours, bringing us back into harmony with who we truly are. And this beautiful light continues to go down past our feet, all the way to the core of the earth, where there's another big ball of light. And you can imagine this as a ball of white light. And this is Earth's light, is also divine light. It's the light of Mother Earth. And these two lights meet, and this light shines up into the room that we're in, goes right up this pillar, filling our bodies with light, filling our aura with light, filling the room with light. and it continues to go up all the way into space, all the way into our sun, past our sun, to the central sun, to God, and it rains back down us in a waterfall of light. And here in this beautiful space, just begin to breathe, and we will connect with you shortly. Dear ones, we are the Palladian Collective. We step forth on behalf of a council who has assembled here today, made of many masters who have walked the earth. We are here with angelics, such as archangels, and other collective consciousnesses from the star. We form a council. However, it is the Palladian Collective who steps forth on behalf of the request of this channel, and we are here today, and we're pleased to speak with you. Oh, dear one, we greet you all with a frequency of love, a frequency of peace, and a frequency of awakening. No, dear ones, you are not alone. You are not alone on Earth. You are not alone as the only humans, as the only animals on the planet. But you are also not alone in consciousness. You are not alone in the stars, for there are many different races, such as us, the Palladians, and many other different beings who are embodied and non-embodied. Know, dear ones, that you have never been alone. In fact, you are us and we are you. There are many Palladians who are here on the Earth's surface who are incarnated at this moment in time, and many of them are unaware of this. So what would define a Palladian? It would be that their soul had had many experiences as a Palladian before coming to the Earth, and they would consider themselves, in one aspect, a Palladian being embodied on Earth. They would also consider themselves humans. And this is how creation works. Many of you have been in many star systems, and your soul has had many different types of experiences, physical, non-physical, angelic in nature. It is all one consciousness. It is all God's consciousness, and it is all here for us. It is for us to experience ourselves. Now, dear ones, know that this consciousness that is speaking with you is a collective consciousness. We are the consciousness of many, many Palladian souls who have experience in the Pleiades, who have experience with the Galactic Federation, you can call it, and it has been called. And we are pleased to open this love and transmission to your questions now, for we understand that you do have them.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So the human race is in a crossroads of awakening. What do we need to do to facilitate this? Some people are doing it, but what would you say to the planet to facilitate this awakening of consciousness?
We thank you for this question, and we are still the Palladian consciousness that is with you today. Know, dear ones, that we have a perspective like many other beings, and we see Earth transitioning quite naturally to a higher vibration, a higher consciousness. Now, you must understand much is already being done to ensure that this happens. One, there are many great beings from the stars, many great beings from the Palladians and other star systems who have incarnated here on Earth for this moment in time. There are many angelic beings who have left the angelic realm to incarnate physically on Earth at this time. And there are many great souls who throughout time have been teachers and masters who are again embodied here. They are all here at this time. There are hundreds of thousands of these types of beings on the planet, and indeed there are millions of beings who are ready to make this transition at this exact moment in time. This is a tipping point, you shall say, which will pull humanity into a higher experience, where indeed billions of people will begin to awaken. Now, what we see is this transition happening naturally, and we say to you that it is indeed taking place already. No, dear ones, as you look into the world, this is a transition that has been happening for a long time. However, the intensity and energy of it now is at a peak point in human history. You can see that the world over the last 100 years has expanded in population. This is indeed to accommodate the many souls who wish to be here at this time and during this transition, who wish to ride this wave into a new age and to ascend with Earth. That is why you truly have the population increase on the planet, is because the souls want to embody here, and we have enabled technology to increase the carrying capacity of the Earth for this very moment. So you see this has happened over a long period of time, and the world has got more loving and more inclusive over this time. No, dear ones, the Earth is very different now, even 100 years ago than it was 1,000 years ago, and this is because of this transition was always known to be coming. And this gives many souls who have had many embodiments on Earth a chance to choose, a chance to see a new world, a chance to be more in love with their life, with this Earth experience, and with their neighbors and friends. And this is indeed what is happening. Now, there are light workers, there are star seeds, there are beings from the stars who have incarnated, such as this channel, such as you, who are sitting in front of me, who have enabled a faster transition, who have come here to serve, in a sense, for the places that you come from. it is a different type of service. You must understand that Earth is a experience where many different types of consciousness, many levels of awareness are embodied in the very same place. And in very high beings of consciousness can come here and they can interact with beings who are on a different stage of their journey, for all will go back to the highest form of consciousness. Now we come here to accelerate this consciousness. We come here to help humanity out of love, out of service to the Creator, to creating a faster and more smoother way to transcend this experience. And this is exactly what we see happening from our perspective. No, dear one, we see Earth transitioning successfully and very beautifully, but there will be many things that change upon the Earth plane. We hope this has helped shed some light on your question.
Yeah, actually, when you started talking originally, I felt a pulsation in my third eye. My pituitary, higher pituitary, started to pulse a little bit. Is that connected to some sort of opening on that level?
This is the plating consciousness is still here in this transmission. Know, dear one, that you do have aspects of the plating consciousness within you, and you are sensing this vibration in your third eye, for you are more aligned with this. This is why you're feeling the sensation. Know that a channel of light has been opened in this room. You can think of this channel of light as a safe space for us to communicate with our frequencies, in a sense, without distortion. There is distortion within this channel, but it is minimal. You are feeling this channel of light. You are feeling what has happened around you and this energy streaming through you. That is what is happening at this very moment.
Right. So I see your beings as sort of silvery with light frequencies, light language almost flowing through you as visible forms of sort of internal expression, if that makes sense. So is that a sort of correct vision of you? Or what do you look like?
We are showing this to the channel now so he can as well see this. Another one, with the consciousness that's speaking to you is a collective consciousness. We are not in physical form. However, what you are seeing is our representation of how we see ourselves at this moment in time. And you are perceiving this, and the channel is now also perceiving this. You can see us as the channel sees us as a pillar of blue and silvery light. That is how he sees. He does see the shape of a humanoid form, but it's more of a light that is flowing around. That is how he sees the plating consciousness at this level of vibration. Know, dear one, that we have the plating consciousness embodied on Earth, as you are embodied. We have the plating consciousness at higher levels in physical form. Know that there are higher levels in Earth that are very physical indeed, and the plating consciousness is there. The consciousness you're speaking with at this moment in time is the collective consciousness. It is a non-physical consciousness.
So give us something really practical, really concrete that each of us watching can do to accelerate and access this energy.
We are pleased with this question. We are the plating consciousness, and we will continue with this transmission. We wish for all of you to trust yourselves. Know, dear one, that each and every one of you is guided. Nobody is born without guidance into this world. This world is a very beautiful place, and because you are underneath a veil of secrecy or a veil of ignorance, guidance is very necessary. So each and every one of you are guided. And now know, dear ones, that inside of you, there is a voice. There is the voice of fear, there's the voice of doubt, there is the voice of I am not good enough. And this is the voice of the lower egoic structure. It is not good or bad. It is designed to keep you in this experience, for if you did not have this egoic structure, you would quite literally be dead. Now, this voice is not aware of the higher realms. This voice is not aware of your guidance. This voice is here to keep you grounded in reality. It is to take you to work. It is to go buy a 6-pack of beer. That is what it is for. Now, higher up, there is another voice, and that is the voice of your higher self. That is the voice of your consciousness. That is the voice of the true you, and it is indeed the voice of your guardian angels, and for many of you, very advanced star beings who are working with you. Now, it is important for each of every one of you to take time out to just relax. Sit in silence for 5 to 10 minutes and just relax. Listen to the voices in your head, and when you hear these positive, loving voices, the ones that tell you that you are good enough, the ones that tell you that you are loved, the ones that tell you everything is going to be okay, focus on them. For when you focus on them, they will become stronger, and you will bring them more into your experience until one day this is all that you hear, and you will see your life transform radically in front of your eyes. For the world is a reflection of you. It is a reflection of your experience. You must understand there are many different experiences happening on the earth plane at this very moment. There are many people who are living in a state of bliss, abundance, and ecstasy, and there are many of those who are suffering in unimaginable ways, and to all happen on the same sphere. It is what is necessary for each soul. However, when you awaken, you take control of this consciousness. You take and we are looking for the words, but you participate in this. And this is very important. You can still the mind, you can call it meditation, or you can call it relaxing, but it's important to take a moment in the day to still the mind and to listen to the voices in your head and to realize the voices in the head are not you. They are pieces of you. They are here to give you an experience. But the true you is eternal. The true you is never going to die. The true you is not limited by time or this experience. It is enjoying, it is in a state of ecstasy. Listen for this voice, for this will transform your life. This is a very practical thing to do. It is very available to every single human on the planet at this moment.
Yeah, thank you for that. Anything you want to leave us with, any other words of wisdom about maybe, other practical things, diet or yoga or just things? I mean, relaxing is great. I appreciate that. But anything else you want to share about the new ways of integrating the energies?
Yes, and we are the Pleiadian Collective again, who steps forth. And we are pleased with this question. Know, dear ones, that relaxation and listening to this voice will lead to all other changes in your life. It will tell you exactly what to do, and you will naturally make changes in the physical and in the non-physical. You will tell yourself nicer and more beautiful stories about yourself and others. Now, there are steps to take in the physical world. Know, dear ones, that the world is changing its frequency. It is moving to a higher light. And because of this, the human structure must raise its vibration to match this higher frequency. Now, we say this without judgment, but we wish to tell you that there are certain foods that carry higher frequencies: fresh foods, organic foods, foods that are grown in natural sunlight, lettuce, things like this. They carry more light. Look for fruits and veggies that are fresh and eat them. Now, when it comes to what you drink, know that every single substance, food, water, even thoughts, all carry a vibrational signature, and they all are on a frequency range that is either higher or lower. And as you want to adjust to a higher frequency, it is important to drink water that has been purified. This is important, for there are many things in water that will lower your vibration if you live in a city. Purify your water, drink lots of water. This will help you assimilate the vibrations that are coming in. Drink and eat fresh juice and foods. This will help you as well. And the next piece is to move. Yoga is good, hiking is good, walking is good. Even pacing in your backyard or in your living room is good. Movement is important. In addition to movement, we have consciousness itself. The story that you tell yourself is almost everything. It is more important than almost the food and everything else. For the story you tell yourself is the vibration that you will send out into the world, is the vibration that you will experience. The story you tell yourself is your experience. If you tell yourself that the world is a bad place full of suffering, you will experience a bad place full of suffering. If you tell yourself that the world is a beautiful place and maybe you've had a couple bumps along the road, but you're still walking in sunlight, you will have a beautiful experience. The story that you tell yourself is everything. So yes, meditate, for this will improve the story you tell yourself. Eat well, for this will give you the energy to go out and experience this world. That's why you came here. This is what we would suggest.
Thank you for your time today and your energy and your transmission and your assistance for being a support for transformation.
With that, dear ones, we are complete. We leave this love and transmission with a blessing. All of you are loved. You are blessed more than you can possibly imagine. Know, dear ones, that all is indeed well in your lives, even if it does not seem as if it is so. It is leading you exactly to where you need to go, and this is perfect for you. With that, dear ones, we are complete, and we leave this channel.
Thank you. Let's do a series of these. I'm happy. I mean, I know you do your own programs, but I think I get something from that. So maybe I'll just come to your workshops or something. But
I know I would be happy to open the door for you.
Yeah, and I think my audience would like this, my New Realities audience. So thank you.
Yeah.
Adrian Fisher, ladies and gentlemen. And what were the name of those guys? Or
that was the Pleiadians.
But they didn't have a specific Pleiadian name.
No, they were just like this light,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, how can people find you again?
So you can find me and the work that I'm doing with other great channels at awaken.world. So it's not .com, it's .world. So www.awaken.world. And we have a lot of channels. It's all free that you can go there and consume. So sort of like what we've done today.
Right.
And in addition to that, we do have a paid membership where you can go deeper. You can ask your own questions. We'll channel on it. We have like these longer workshops. We have classes coming and live events. So it's a place we have a community as well. So you can sort of connect with other people who are awakening.
And maybe next time we'll meet the Acturians.
Perhaps.
Or somebody we have never heard of.
Yeah, that would be great.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Your time and your effort. And yeah, we could go on for hours.
We could,
but you know, the real world.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for opening the space for me here.
Yes, and of course you can get my book.
Yeah.
Little commercial, which doesn't in a way. I mean, some of it goes as deep, but it kind of is an introduction to people that all this is new to. It's like, how do you get from business to Pleiadians?
Right. You got to maybe read a book about them.
or have a fast track awakened experience. But thank you. I'm Alan Steinfeld for New Realities, and I'm talking to Adrian Fisher, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you for the audience here watching.